Hi, Career Sandwich community. This is Lex, the content manager over at Career Sandwich. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through a couple different ways to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to be using some examples. I thought that maybe it would make more sense to look at the LinkedIn profiles of my coworkers than my own profile, because I felt like I couldn't be super unbiased in looking through that. So starting with Julie, one of the first things that people will see when they click into your profile is the cover photo. So this back image here, your photo of your face, your name, and then your headline. So we want to make sure that these elements are polished and that they tell the story that we want to be telling. So for Julie, I think this is fantastic. We have a really nice, simple background image. It's clean. It connects to the company she works for. We've got a really nice image of her face. It's like crisp. It looks like very well done. And then for her headline, it succinctly describes all of the elements of the work that she does. Now, for instance, if Julie were trying to, maybe let's say she's done with Career Sandwich and she wants to go work for a company as a graphic designer, I would have encouraged her to put that in her headline. So for example, graphic designer should show up here, but because that's not what Julie's doing, that's not what we see here. And I think this is great for her. Another element I really love on Julie's profile and is underutilized on LinkedIn is the featured section. So you can actually go into your profile and add this extra featured section. This is really great if you have a website you want to demonstrate, if you have work you want to show to people, or if there are posts on LinkedIn. This sort of works as a pinned section for LinkedIn posts. So if there are posts or content that you really want people to see, this is especially great for creatives, for software engineers. You could put your portfolio or your GitHub. It just is more attention grabbing than the project section, which is also at the very bottom of the LinkedIn page. So I love seeing a featured section, and I love that Julie has this here. Okay, jumping to Dennis. Very similar things for Dennis. So we've got like great photos here. We've got a great headline. So I'm going to skip these and jump to the about section. So Dennis did something a little different than Julie. Julie's was very succinct and to the point. She spoke about her skills. Dennis is more storytelling focused. So it speaks to the values that Dennis has and the things that are very important to him. I personally would encourage him to make this a little bit shorter, especially for folks who are job searching. If someone is on your profile, they may be whipping through things pretty quickly. So maybe, is there a way we could get this down to like a couple bullet points without really pulling too much of that story apart? Because the story is, it sounds like what's really important to Dennis. So I wonder if there's a blend between the two that we could find. He's active on LinkedIn, which is great. That's another thing that recruiters and hiring managers will look for. Because if you're going to reach out to someone, you want to make sure that they're active on the platform you're engaging with them on. I'm actually going to skip these later experiences for Dennis because, again, we're not talking about folks who are maybe actively job seeking. And so I'm going to jump back to some of these older positions for him. So what I really love about what Dennis is doing here is that he highlighted the skills that he experienced or demonstrated in those positions. This is a newer feature from LinkedIn over the last 2 years. So it is something that you will have to go back and add in manually if you have older experiences on your LinkedIn. But this is a great way to like really quickly call out like what are the skills you got from this position. What I also really love is that he spoke about what it was that his job's role was. So like as a manager, employer branding, and internal marketing at Envision, he was tasked with designing and crafting remote solutions that help Envision attract the best talent globally. This is a really great and succinct way to summarize what it was he did. And then he spoke about how he did that. So it's what you did, how you did it, and then what skills did you demonstrate. Luckily, LinkedIn has sort of made the what skills you demonstrated easier for us, but you could also go the extra route of adding any accomplishments or honors. I've seen that as another section that people will add in their experience section. Now, your experience section is a great opportunity to add in keywords that are relevant to the positions you're looking for. If Dennis, as this manager of employer branding and internal marketing, maybe at this point in his career, he was thinking about becoming a software engineer. Maybe he was going to shift paths completely. What I would then encourage Dennis to do is to read through this and ask the question of like, how much of this content is directly applicable to the work you'd be doing as a software engineer. This also goes for your resume. As people are looking through this content really quickly, they probably don't have the mental time and energy to be making all of the connections that might make sense to you. You might very easily see the connection between being a lead designer for people and being a software engineer, but the person reading your resume might not see those connections. So anywhere you can, making it super, super clear what those connections are. Finally, we're going to jump to Shelby. I'm going to again skip the elements I covered in Dennis and Julie's areas, and I'm actually going to jump to her experience section. Okay, so this is actually a really great opportunity for some feedback. So Shelby doesn't have a lot of content in her prior positions. If Shelby were looking for work, I would definitely encourage her to flesh out some of these other positions. These are great spaces to add other information that might pop up in searches. So I like to think of LinkedIn as search engine optimization. So if you're familiar with SEO, it is basically the tools that people will use on the back end when creating a website to make sure that the right people are finding their website. So at Career Sandwich, we might be looking for people who are job seeking, or maybe they were laid off and they're searching for certain terms. The terms that those folks are searching are the ones that are relevant to us, and we want to pop up in those searches. The same exact thing happens here. So if Shelby were looking for work, let's say she wants to get back into HR, she wants to get back into the people and culture world. If she were searching for work, she would want to make sure that her experiences demonstrate a wealth of knowledge and skills in the area of people and culture. That way, if a recruiter or hiring manager is looking for someone in those spaces, she is popping up in those searches because she has the right keywords. That is again that piece about like, are you telling the right story? So you want to make sure you're telling the story for the job that you want, not the job you have. Okay. I hope my coworkers approve of me giving them a little LinkedIn feedback. I think we've got a lot of great examples of some opportunities for optimization and also some great examples of an optimized LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and happy searching.